He missed all the QTEs and got the bad ending on understanding the initiative from the jump here. Ross is correct. This has...
Let me guess. Pirate Software, we didn't cover his drama, is so fucking arrogant, he's doubling down, if I had to guess.
Has nothing to...
I really,
say
we don't know
yes.
anything.
Yeah.
We don't know anything. Me and Vault don't know a fucking thing.
But it sound- it
all
does
about
sound
the
like-
catch up. That, like, I bet he
Oh, fuck.
doubled
Versus
down.
is, versus...
All right. We haven't covered a video from our friend here in a long time.
Yeah, it's the
That's wrong one.
first video.
Yeah, I thought I had it ready to roll off and loaded. I just thought. It's all right. The pirate software situation. That's the second part of this. So we're gonna watch
It's the second one, yeah.
a good part of. Hopefully, I won't get sued. Oh, I hate Insomnia. Let's see. Squid Game 3 was bad. It was very bad. It wasn't very good. It was like watching two ducks
Kid got arrested.
It was like watching two baby ducks being run over by a four-wheeler over and over again. And just when you thought maybe one of them just got clipped and they lost their leg, it just runs them over again. That's my imitation of... that's my imitation of a... apparently not very good.
You know...
Of our friend here. Okay, I don't know anything. I'll take calls. If you guys want to straighten me out, even in the middle of the thing, if I got something wrong or don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no
Yeah,
clue.
we might need some
He
help.
doesn't know nothing either, so we're doing this totally cold. I want to get caught up on it. I think it's probably something I should know. Here we go.
What this is right
Oh,
here,
should
pal.
Dankel upload a video?
Who?
Dankel it. Click on your bell thing.
Yeah. Well,
Your,
no, that's for the other. That's the other.
Holy
that's his second channel. I watch that too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Big fan. Got the studio tour.
Ah, tough guy. You feeling lucky? Yeah, that's right. Spirit fingers. Do you know why? Because it's been about 30 hours since I last slept, and I've done 3 different intros, all of which crash and burned, and I am off my gourd, so now I'm going wacko mode. But, even in my sleep-deprived state, I am still lucid enough to recognize how cattywampus the AAA gaming space has become. Like, the gaming industry has so many things that I have bitched and moaned about.
Gaming's kind of sucked for years now, you know?
Probably the biggest practice
there's
that I've
no good
been
games
most
now.
vocal
Yeah, peaked in like 2017. Really hasn't been mind-blowing since.
about, not exactly shy on, is the topic of "You will own nothing and be happy." The Ubisoft motto. God rest that company's soul. What a pile of dog. But it's not just Ubisoft. That has become a prevalent business strategy across the gaming industry. You will own nothing. You will be happy. You're basically... You come away with the idea of ownership of whatever games you purchase. I've worn this topic out more than a fleshlight in a frat house, but it is something I am very passionate
So's Muda.
about. The gaming industry is getting away with more and more garbage where they'll take a shit in your mouth and you're expected to thank them for adding some flavor to your taste buds. It's terrible. And there is an initiative that has been aiming to fight back against a lot of these practices that I think really need some big overhaul. And it's an initiative that I think a lot of you are probably...
So let me guess. Pirate Software fucking fell on the opposite side of this. Okay.
very familiar with. It's called Stop Killing Games. And I've followed it since its inception. I've talked about it on stream quite a few times, though this is my first video going over it. And I regret that now because I see it wasn't going as well as I thought it was. Admittedly, I didn't follow how successful the initiative was, only that it was aiming to do good for consumers, and that it was taking proper steps legally to get there, and it was going through all of the right channels. And now today I watched a video from the guy that's spearheading this. His name is Ross. He posted a video called The End of Stop Killing Games, where he's giving an update on where everything's at and how it's kind of at the finish line here with a lot of failure to show for it, with only a few other chances to fight back. Now, before getting into the weeds on the topic, I want to get this in the beginning because I imagine the vast majority of people won't watch the whole thing. I'm putting a link to the full video on Stop Killing Games, as well as a link to where you
Maybe we should have watched that instead of made fun of him.
There's another one?
Fuck.
go to help
So this
support
part
the
two?
Stop Killing
Fuck.
Games initiative.
Why would I want to support it now? He's just falling in his face.
Because there's only a little bit of time left for the most important parts of it now that it's at the end. So if you know what the movement is and want to support it but didn't know where, the resources are on the
Well, you already talked me out of it there, Charlie.
in the description, or if you
Yeah,
want to
man,
get
like,
it right
I don't want to do this shit anymore.
from like the source, I have a link to his video. But I want to go into it myself here because it is a topic that I do feel very strongly
I'll get to the point.
about.
Right, go ahead.
But for those
Please
that don't
do.
know anything about Stop Killing Games, I'm going to let him explain it in his own words. So that way you can get
All right,
an actual correct
So I don't need to watch a video either.
Hell yeah, all right, we're back.
explanation of what the initiative is. And the reason I say it like that, kind of like fucking all, pinky out, snooty, is because a lot of people don't even really know what this is because of people like Pirate
Yeah, we
Software
don't.
completely misrepresenting what the initiative was.
As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying
This
video
guy's a
games
gamer.
they have
This
already
guy's a
sold.
fucking
Guy
gamer.
fucking loves gaming. This guy's a gamer.
This guy loves games.
As I sit
This guy
behind,
loves retro
Just
games.
like sit behind 10 arcades.
to customers.
I'll pause right there. The simplest, bare bones, birthday suit, butt ass naked explanation for what this is. Stop destroying things that people have paid money to own. I think that is a very understandable, very reasonable take. Very
Noble.
agreeable. Now I want to quickly jump to a different spot in this video because I think it's important to have this in the beginning because it's something a lot of people have heard that comes from someone that is just wrong about it. It's the Pirate Software portion. Ross is addressing the video Pirate Software made many months ago. Ross even says that he didn't plan on doing that because he didn't want to be seen as using this for drama farming because it would start to make the movement look less of like a legitimate initiative and more of just like drama
He was right.
slop content type thing. But he finally
And here we are.
he
Here we
starts
are.
talking about Pirate Software here because it's at the end of the life cycle of this initiative and it's not looking promising, so he's willing to do anything to try and set the record straight and hopefully
Start shit with somebody nobody likes.
start getting more momentum back to the movement because the damage Pirate Software did to it through his video was substantial.
This video came out right as we were building momentum. Then, except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork.
Germany.
Ford does not understand
go.
what Stop Killing Games
you.
is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games
No.
to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific.
It's more than that, isn't it? It's like multiplayer games too, right?
They're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
And as much as they want it to
No.
He says no.
be
No.
about
Come on,
No.
no, man.
I think I would sue him for taking Pirate Software's copyright. That's not very good.
Yeah, that's not very
That's not transformative. No.
It's not. No, it's not. No.
Yeah. Is it fair use to say, "Oh, you're so stupid! What are you doing?"
out specifically
It's like
games
90% everybody on.
whereas a
online.
single player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists. Instead of just targeting single player, always online games.
No, that's
very
not
good.
what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. It's the first
All right, so he got one thing wrong. Big deal.
line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer
So
Oh.
Pirate Software did not turn out the genius everybody thought he was.
No.
movement
You missed the
started
first line.
to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative.
He didn't even get the Cliff Notes summary right. He missed all the QTEs and got the bad ending on understanding the initiative from the jump here. Ross is correct. This has
Let me guess. Pirate Software, we didn't cover his drama, is so fucking arrogant, he's doubling down, if I had to guess.
nothing to
I really,
say
we don't know
yes,
anything.
yeah.
We don't know anything. Me and Vault don't know a fucking thing.
But it
All
does
about
sound
the
like
catch up. That, like, I bet he
Oh fuck!
doubled
Versus
down.
is versus in the chat. I'm
Well,
sure,
let him
I'm
come
sure
in.
he knows.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to come in, he's more than welcome.
do with just single player only games that require an online connection, that when the online connection is severed, you lose access to the game. Like, yeah, that is included in all of this, but that's not like what the whole movement is about. And for some reason, Pirate Software is stun locked on that, like fixated as if that is the actual like meat and potatoes of Stop Killing Games. They need to be more specific in their language about it being single player, always online connectivity games. When that's just not what it's about. Like, they're not being specific about that.
Asmund Gold is, I feel like Asmund's moved past Charlie. Charlie used to be like unstoppable.
Because that is not what they are specifically targeting. It is about the whole practice of destroying games that consumers have already purchased and having no end-of-life plans for games that are being sunset. So, for example, The Crew. The Crew
In my day, you could play the cartridge till it broke.
is an example everyone is
we had
going
them CDs.
Yeah, CDs. Go back to CDs.
to reference and talk about because Ubisoft is still currently in a lawsuit battling against it for what happened with this game. I've yet
I don't have all the shit I have. Fucking, I don't have a cartridge to blow on. That's what I was. All this fucking shit in this place. I don't have one fucking Atari cartridge.
What a fucking fake gamer, dude. You fake gamer.
Fake gamer.
laughed about it quite a bit, so I'm not just going to
Oh, just
regurgitate
for
that.
show.
I'm sure
On fucking PC now.
a lot of you already know this story about it. But basically, you buy The Crew, Ubisoft pulls the plug on the servers, you can't play The Crew anymore, now it's just an old wet dream of what once was. And they are facing a lawsuit, and while this is in the umbrella of Stop Killing Games, it is not the only thing Stop Killing Games is referencing when it comes to this practice.
I gotta be fucking honest with you, man. I mean, the fact that they can just cut you off completely when
Yeah, that sucks, man.
it
You know, like you
it
bought
kills
the
the
game.
retro, it kills the retro.
If it's like
game.
$60, yeah.
Destroys the retro game community. Although I do believe, like, when the servers went off for H1Z1, there's still somebody trying. There's always some group trying to put the fucking thing back together. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure-
like that's
yeah, but
that's more of an
it's
indie game,
shaky.
I guess.
It's
a smaller
shaky.
game.
And these companies are so copyright obsessed. They'll take it down, even if they're not making any money or losing money on it. They'll go after you. You know.
Pirate Software is so hung up on it being single-player games that people lose access to, when that is a component of it, but not the entire focus.
Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about
His
converting
name's Thor. Look up that man's real name, please. Thor? Is he Swedish?
multiplayer games.
Odinson.
There's no way. That's his real name.
Thor
No, it's
Odinson.
not. It's Thor Odinson.
No, his first name is Jason. Jason Thor.
Is it Thor
Just a single
Odinson?
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single
By the
player.
way, Tommy, he
rebuild-
changed his name. He changed his last name to Thor. It's not his real name. No way. No way. dude.
Dork. I don't like my name, Shulman. I'm going to change it to Thor, the God of Thunder.
building everything
Well, I'm
in
gonna
the
change my
entire
name
game.
to fucking Zeus.
Zeus. Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. The God of Thunder.
How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy
I'm sorry, sir. You do not look like the God of Thunder.
14? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down, and suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Because they would have to sunset
This
live
guy
service
sucks.
games as a single-player
It does
experience.
suck.
The idea that suddenly you need to make every
First of all, World of Warcraft is so fucking big. I guarantee you, there'll be when they shut World of Warcraft down, there's going to be plenty of World of Warcraft servers. I mean, that game's 20. It hit 20. What, November? Jesus, it's going nowhere.
Single live service game
You
played
might not get any more content for it, but it's going nowhere.
single player offline. No, dude.
Correct. No.
This part is more confusing than Finnegan's Wake, because nowhere in anything on Stop Killing Games has this even been like a...
You know what it makes him look like? It makes him look like a corporate shill. You know, this is something corporations would want. That's where he comes from.
He did like work for
Yeah,
Blizzard for a while.
exactly.
So, yeah.
But you know, it might be something simpler than that. He's fucking not as smart as everybody thought.
A talking point from anyone besides Pirate Software. I don't know where he pieced this puzzle together. Like I don't get it. Like if I'm gonna try and like really reach here and give like a charitable explanation for this take, maybe he's extrapolating based on the idea that if publishers have to have end-of-life plans for their games, that includes MMOs, where once the game is getting sunset, you're pulling the plug on it, you would then need to turn the game over to the community in a playable state, an accessible state, like give the code to them. Thus, it'd turn it into
That doesn't sound terrible, but I don't know. I'm not sure what problem that would cause.
a single-player experience, so the onus would be on the developers to rebalance their game to be a single-player experience for them. I guess. I have no idea. That still just doesn't make any sense, but maybe that's the tree.
Why would he, you know, that's an interesting point Charlie brings up. Why would he come to that conclusion? Like, I know less than nothing about this. And that I just thought, all right, they have to make it playable somehow, some way for the community since it was already purchased. Why would he think it'd have to be rebalanced to be single player?
Yeah, that doesn't.
It doesn't even make,
really
sense. I got to be honest with you. There isn't too many people that are going to play just the single player part of World of Warcraft. First of all, you can't.
Also, like they would have to go back and work on the game again.
No. See, there's the part where I'll stick up for the companies. I don't think they have to go back to the game. I think they should have to either give the code away, give it to the public, or I don't think they're trying to say they have to make DLC. No, you can't make them do that.
No, it's not like it's DLC. It's just that. Okay, let's say like Black Ops.
Yeah.
The online Black Ops was owned by Activision all the way.
Yeah.
They pulled the plug, and
Yeah,
then
let us set up our
change
servers.
the game.
Yeah, let us set up our
No.
servers.
Then they would go change the game and make it single player.
Uh-huh.
Like 5 years later. I think like that's what he's
I
arguing,
don't get that.
which just makes no sense.
That's not what people want. And like World of Warcraft's a multiplayer game. There isn't too many people that are gonna. First of all, with the amount of code that's probably already out there now, they probably could do that. The public could probably do that themselves.
Yeah, they probably could.
Yeah.
But like what Pirate Software is arguing is that the developers would go back and work on the game, which just makes no fucking sense. Even though they would probably have other games.
Wow.
Process, I really don't know, because Stop Killing Games at no point ever says any of these multiplayer games need to be converted to single player. That really is outlandish. And the more I think about it, like the more nonsensical it becomes, because even in Pirate Software's hypothetical fanfic there, why would the developers need to rebalance the game? They would just turn over the code to the community and just it'd be in that state. They're no longer responsible for balancing the game. That's the whole point. They're not indefinitely supporting it. They would just be responsible of leaving the game in an accessible state to the community, while they would.
I think he's just like running propaganda that he's telling the like he's. It does seem like he's deliberately taking that out of context. Like what this movement wants is forever support, and I don't. That would be. I'm telling you, I'd be on the game company side if that was the case. You're allowed to shut down
that
a
would be
project,
fucking impossible.
That'd be ridiculous.
Would shut down the servers on their end. Like they wouldn't need to go back through with a whole development team and tweak the game to be single player.
Last time I played FF14, they introduced NPC parties. You team up for dangerous raids. So I think they slowly are setting up for something familiar. Oh, okay.
Compatible. It just doesn't make sense. Like I really do not understand that one. But apparently a lot of people latched on to that talking point from Pirate Software as something that Stop Killing Games was asking for, and how unreasonable it was. Well,
they made a huge mistake by not correcting this. You know, what did he say before? They want to do it because they want to make it about drama. we'll make a non-drama video and like, look, we understand the pirate software and we respect him, but we want to correct the record on what we're actually asking for, because what pirate software said wasn't true. We think it was an honest mistake, and just go through it. By let it go for couple, the propaganda sit out there for months on end. You got to wonder if he's like just a shill for corporations.
If that's what Stop Killing Games was asking for, it would be unreasonable. But that's not what it's asking for.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
What? It's vague because that don't wait.
He never has that light bulb moment.
All right. Are they misrepresenting him? Is he saying that what they're asking for is so vague that it could be interpreted in a way that would be harmful? I mean,
well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for.
I know this part is once again just reinforcing that he doesn't know what the Stop Killing Games movement is about, but I have to just show you this because it is so fascinating, because he himself literally calls out that Stop Killing Games at no point explicitly mentions single-player always online games or anything like that. And for some reason, instead of following the breadcrumbs that would naturally lead him to the conclusion of, oh, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe because
maybe he's being bad faith. See, I'm suspicious. Maybe he's being bad faith, and he has another alternative. Yeah. Maybe he's not just stupid.
It's absent here. That's not what this is actually about. Instead,
this is actually better than I thought it would be, because this is kind of a mystery to me, because I'm so ignorant to it.
He uses it as a criticism against the Stop Killing Games initiative entirely, saying it's just too vague, it's way too vague. The reason it is not explicitly stated there is because that is not what the whole initiative is about. It is not specifically targeting that thing that you keep saying that it is. I don't know how that never clicked.
But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
Sure.
Wouldn't it be funny if this guy changes his name to Loki?
What? This guy?
Oh yeah, he changes his name to Loki.
He got Thor and Loki going on it. Why not? He's kind of the retarded brother, right?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future.
Now he's changed it again and is making.
Yeah, that tells me he's being that he's playing games here. Because it's like how stupid now. Like, we're getting to the point where I don't believe he's stupid anymore. Like, he just didn't read the thing, that's like a lot of commentators got caught up in like, watch the video. I didn't say that, and they're like, you're not reading. You're so stupid. Jason isn't stupid. He's malicious, a liar. Look up Mr. Robot Security Convention. Yeah, well, I was somewhat familiar with that. So that's what I'm wondering. Is he being malicious? Is he trying to kill this movement by lying about it and omitting stuff? Because, like, it's pretty clear that's not what it is. It's pretty clear that's what's out there. So you're left with two things. He's out of content and he's just spilling stuff, or, he's in the tank for the companies he used to work for.
Picking up how it's about single-player games are advertised.
And either way, you're fucked with this guy, because he strikes me as the type, if he got something wrong, he would just never admit it under any circumstance. We saw that with the stupid World of Warcraft club he was in.
What is he doing?
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay elements. That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
This is a really strong section from Ross here, because the clips that you saw moments ago were from his stream. When he took more time to watch it and digest it, he still came back in that video misrepresenting it. Like,
so there's something wrong here. I'm past the point that he's stupid.
It never dawned on him. Like, on stream, you could write it off as like, oh, he didn't grasp it in the moment. Maybe later on he did. Well, then he made the video where he still was talking about things that are just not.
That's how you get caught up with these liars. You start taking them fucking literally. And they're lying. They're not mistaken.
not what Stop Killing Games
And
was
they'll
about.
just never
And
admit to it.
Yeah.
this was the one that really blew up and really started to kind of dismantle the Stop Killing Games momentum.
If we
You
don't
actually
like the
don't
idea
need
of
to
live
interact with real people ever.
Every time I hear,
Limtigrakle donated $5. Every time I hear fucking Odinson talk in that soft teacher tone, I wanna hit my screen.
yeah, I think people got tired of his act too.
service
Thank you,
games as
Jim.
a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No.
What?
He's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer.
Pirate Software then goes on to talk about like the business practice of misleading consumers into thinking that what they're buying is a product as opposed to a license to a product, which is a totally separate thing. And then he criticizes Stop Killing Games for not being specific.
Stop Killing Games made a huge mistake by not going right after him. And you could have done it in a way that wasn't drama. Criticism isn't necessarily drama. I understand it's definitely going to be shaped that way, but there is a way you can do this. Well,
Think about that thing that he
like there's a way you can criticize Nick DiOrio without saying he's a dick sucker and he's or Turkey Tom and say he's Turkey Tom and then say he's covering for people or attack people's credibility like Willie Mack. There's a way you can do that, but it doesn't get a lot of clicks.
is bringing up, as opposed to what Stop Killing Games is talking about. So he's using that against them for some reason. And then Ross goes into like the license talk.
Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms
I think you're getting there.
are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely.
I
This
agree.
needs regulation. Forget video games. If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years, when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends. The vast majority of online-only games do neither of those.
He's exactly right. That is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Now, Pirate Software is correct here about these companies that will mislead consumers through this fraudulent advertising on what you're actually buying, because in a lot of cases, you don't own any of the shit that you're buying. It is pretty much a rental. You get a permission slip to access the content. That is an issue, and not making it abundantly clear to consumers that that is what you are buying is a problem. And so too is the
this does seem like a perfect thing for real consumer groups to go after. It's like you're buying a service or you're buying a product, and making that abundantly clear. That is not an unreasonable request, or to know exactly what it is, and they don't make it abundantly clear.
actual
Like games still, games now for the most part cost what, like fucking $70,
Yeah.
70, $80, and it's
Yeah.
all just online.
Yeah.
Back when games were on CD, they costed $60 because like you were paying for an actual CD.
Yeah.
You were paying for the box.
Yeah.
and
You know how
stuff,
much CDs
plus
cost to
the
make?
game.
About 2 cents. So
Yeah, I know, but like there's still something. There's still something physically in front of you.
agreements, as Ross demonstrates with Blizzard, where it says they can just completely terminate it for no reason at all. It really does go against the basic idea of commerce entirely. Video games are in a totally different ball game when it comes to that, because half the time you don't realize that you're
If he punches up on Charlie in a certain way, I'm going to say they bought him, because that's the only thing I don't know how anybody could be this ridiculous, unless they're somehow taking him out of context.
just buying an admission ticket to
That I mean Pirate Software. That's the only thing. They're either brutally taking him under contact, or he's being malicious.
a game. You're not actually buying the game. You also don't know how long that's going to last. Again, to go back to Concord, that shit lasted less than a fucking,
Week.
fucking rainstorm, basically. Like, there is just so many problems. So I don't know why Pirate Software would be so harsh on Stop Killing Games for not addressing specific things that he himself is bringing up or making up in regards to it. It just doesn't compute. It really is a video that did significant damage to an actually positive initiative that aimed to help consumers.
Not if you're a corporation.
All based on his complete
I mean, how many corporations want, like, I don't know, Call of Duty 17 is out, and more people are playing Call of Duty 15. You know, I wonder if that's what they're trying to avoid.
Representation.
So no one sucks so bad.
Of it, which was a complete mess.
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He wheeled out that line about publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where—
He's lying. He's lying. I'm convinced. He's fucking lying. All right, this is enough for me. Might not be enough for Chud's crowd. Maybe they'll need some more evidence, but he's lying.
it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop gamers from going there, even when we spell it out.
That's the
Yeah, because they're lying. They're lying.
Yeah,
last clip
just
I want to show
malicious
from the
lying.
section on the pirate software video, but it's
I'm convinced. I want to skip ahead to the second one. I imagine this has something to do with Shithead himself, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And his name is in the title. Yeah.
All right, I'm convinced
I
he's
have
a
no
liar.
doubt most of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier, glowing, really radiant.
No, I can't tell at all. You have the same monotone voice you've had for the last fucking 11 years I've been watching you.
You can tell probably just from my voice alone and this striking smile. So what is the secret to this newfound happiness of
That
mine?
was pretty funny, the smile. At least I could do that. That's pretty good. I can't even do it. I can't do it.
The one trick doctors don't want
I guess
you
that's
to
why
know.
he's a
I haven't been
That's why he's a superstar.
16 million sub.
It was it's a pretty funny smile.
online as much.
60.9
I've been
mil.
going
Superstar.
outside far more frequently, spending time in the real world. And as such, I'm sure many of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months, internet drama hasn't been a huge focal point of the channel because I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. I haven't
No, you got absolutely laid the fuck out. What are you talking about?
kept up with the vast majority of it. And of course, occasionally I've still dipped my tootsies in some of it, like if there's something particularly wacky going on, and I still cover like news and crazy shit going on with aliens and all of
That
that
had everything to do with Sneeko. Please fucking spare me. All right. You had a bad debate, whatever. I don't think it discredits you.
kind of thing, or if there's like a really cringe, prankster that got arrested or something, I'll still talk about that. But it's not.
In fairness to him, I know he's the new guy to beat on, but for somebody who's had such a long career as he has, he's taken very little heat over the years. I think overall it's a success. He does have a lot of credibility still, I think.
Like a
Clout
fixation.
Capital?
What happens is this guy like him gets one thing wrong, right? Or maybe he has a bad take or whatever. The take police are out there, the sweep police, the sweep hunters. And then it's
Chud
like,
logic of the
then
world.
everything, everything they've done in the past is now in question, which really shouldn't be that way unless it's habitual.
For me, like it used to be over the last few years, where I was covering any and all internet creator space hoopla. And I want to keep it that way. I'm having a lot more fun not doing that.
I imagine.
That being said, there is something that has unfolded here that's like the John Wick killing the dog moment that's bringing me back, just very temporarily. And it's pirate software. Yesterday I talked about Stop Killing Games. And there's no way to talk about Stop Killing Games without also mentioning pirate software because of the profound effect he has had on that initiative in its demise. I say demise, but it's not actually fully cooked, but it has been on life support, and pirate software did play a big role in that because of 2 videos he made, as well as a stream,
Pirate Software is working on being the most hated guy on the internet.
shitting all over it. And that's not even doing it justice. He was full-blown tooting on this. He was shitting on it with some fart on top. And a lot of what he was saying about Stop Killing Games wasn't accurate. It was a misrepresentation of the initiative. And the guy behind it, the guy spearheading it, Ross, finally set the record straight on a lot of the misconceptions that pirate software helped to put out there and kind of exacerbate these thought processes that just weren't accurate for what the initiative was actually aiming to do. He finally set the record straight, And I, of course, wanted to talk about it as someone who does actually care about it.
Are people accusing Blizzard of paying him for this? I wonder, because it's crossed. I mean, I don't know that. It's a terrible thing. It has crossed my mind. You know what I mean?
Now, as I've said, I've been a little more off the grid.
He's not. He's a pretty shady guy, if you ask me.
I bought a fucking farm, so I've been, living off the Lord's land recently, and I've missed a lot of the internet happenings. So Pirate Software's previous anime arcs of drama, like with World of Warcraft, and the one after that, 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 I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. I only got little tiddlywinks, little morsels of lore about it in a few clips, so I never really even understood
What state is Charlie from? Do you have any idea? Find out.
what was going
I wonder where he's from.
on there. So Pirate Software
I think he's from Florida.
His response to everything that happened yesterday really caught me by surprise. That was a...
Oh, what you thought he was going to say? Hey, I got this wrong. Let me fix it. It's YouTube, man.
Whoops.
Whoops, sorry. I really did get this wrong. He was going to say, if he's not being bad faith and he's not paid off by the companies, he would have said he's going to fucking double down. Of course. Of course.
Version of my expectations, bigger than Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago.
What does that got to do with anything? Whether it's 10 months or 10 years ago?
About their stuff, and then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control, I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively
If it is his ego.
referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. And that's the truth, because Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness...
Not that crazy to me. That's the hand I put him on.
Is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same talking point multiple times in the clip.
Is it really bad? Like, I don't know if he was paid off. I can't say it.
About how, like, oh,
He only worked for Blizzard for I don't know how long.
I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep. Oh boy. Time to play a sad song on the world's smallest violin for the Stop Killing Games movement. All because Big Bad Pirate Software took it all down by himself. Like, it's crazy. No one's saying that. Like, there is no one out there that is saying it is entirely...
See, look, you're all fucking worked up. You're all fucking frustrated. And the guy's just lying. Knowingly lying. More than likely.
Entirely Pirate Software's fault that Stop Killing Games hasn't been more successful in its endeavors. But there's irrefutable evidence that you had a detrimental effect, a majorly damaging effect on Stop Killing Games because of your misinformation that you spread about it in 2 videos and across all your streams, and not once have you bothered to correct that record. And he has said that it hasn't been refuted in 10 months. That is fish paste. That is turbo horseradish. Go to your own comment section on your videos to see everyone refuting you, as well as the innumerable other gamers and voices out there that have taken down those talking.
So it's really, the verdict's in. He's either an egomaniac, not impossible, or just a bad faith jerk off that's blowing the corporation.
Probably like a bit of both.
And that's possible
a bit of both,
too.
probably.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll make this lie so good nobody will refute it. Now he's just backing it up because I can't believe they've refuted it.
A lot of them, and proven that you just didn't understand it. And that is the big problem. No one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree.
He's right in the chat now. I haven't watched it. Like, it's both. Yeah, I think you're right. Hey, listen, I'm finding out about this as I go along. All right, everything I literally saw. I knew I knew. Here's what I knew going into this: Stop Killing Games was about,
Stop Killing Games.
Stop killing games. when at the end of life type of thing. Yeah, that's it. That's all I know. I didn't know any Pirate Software. I have not covered any of his dramas recently, so nothing.
With Stop Killing Games. The reason so many people
He's in the I could do this phase. Yeah. Most people are like that.
are angry at him, myself included here. You can disagree with the movement all you want. If you don't like the initiative, I'm not your fucking dad. You make your own choices there. But
Charlie's mad.
reason so many people, myself included,
I'm really, really mad.
do not like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is outright refusing to just admit any level of fault, that he was wrong about anything. And that couldn't be more clear.
We've seen this
from these
before.
clips, as well as his tweets that he's made. It's actually his tweets that really
This is great watching Charlie freak out over this. I mean, I get his frustration, but it's just, I wouldn't get that mad because it's just one of two things. Like, he's shown this behavior in the past.
me off the fucking
People don't change. That's a dirty. Well, people do. No, they don't.
rails here. Off my
Very rarely. Usually, like, you know who changes? You know, like you. I'll tell you changes. Let's say a guy, he's like banging, like he's a big womanizer. She's just fucking people like shit, and he's always like, "Ha I'm winning," and then he gets hit by a fucking truck and loses his legs. That guy changes. I really should have been a better person my whole life. Those are the only people that change when you're humbled beyond recognition, and sometimes that doesn't work.
my gourd. Let's start with this little nugget here that he deleted from last night. So he tweeted directly at Ross.
Now he's got Charlie pissed off at him? Oh.
The guy behind Stop Killing Games, talking about how he made those videos 10 months ago, and since then, his community's been nothing but hateful. A scourge, a fucking tyrannid threat that he must destroy. Your community is fucking rabid, and it's shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. Why do you think I haven't talked about this shit in 10 months? Why do you think we auto-mute anyone bringing it up in chat? Because it's been rage bait and shit flinging the entire time.
Talk about it, yeah. Jesus Christ. Not, you know, he won't be able to, I guess, he's deliberately not trying to engage with it. I mean, yeah, because it's both. It's one, it's a little bit, I'm sucking off the companies, and then I made this like perfect lie that nobody, and then all of a sudden it's not the perfect lie, or it's not the perfect bullshit.
And just goes on about like how he is the victim of Ross's toxic, terrible community, which is hilariously hypocritical coming from Pirate Software, when in his videos,
Fairness, Ross wasn't that bad. He was just like, no. That's all he did. He wasn't even that mean about it.
Dude, no.
No, dude.
Hogan said no.
That's all he said is no. It wasn't like
in his streams, he makes it very clear and is very rude about how much he dislikes not only Ross, but the movement. And it's not like he's being very professional and polite about it, you know, buttoned up. Listen to it.
So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on, you can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of french fries here about people being mean to you when you are literally the one that started the shit-flinging and name-calling. And by the way, Ross never even addressed this for 10 months because he didn't want to dilute the initiative into just having it be boiled down to drama between creators, which I think was actually very big of him. The only reason he's talking about it now is because it's at the end of its life, and
Since when is fucking like disagreeing with somebody like toxic?
so many people still don't understand it because of someone like Pirate Software misrepresenting it. So he's finally setting the record straight there. Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little while ago, he made a new tweet, a very long tweet, as well as a series of tweets under it in regards to this whole thing. And in all these words, all this mumbo-jumbo, not once does he say he was wrong about anything. In fact, he just continues to double down, even proudly stating he is doubling down. Wow, how incredibly noble, doubling down on things you are provably...
Doubling down on stuff that you could... Yeah, so he's knowingly lying.
Yes, I did.
He wasn't mistaken. He wasn't misinformed. He didn't. It's not that he didn't understand. This was. I am a knowing liar. I'm very confident.
Wrong about. We don't need to hit the Jumbotron for the replay on yesterday's video going over so many of the things that he was incorrect about in regards to the initiative. But the point is, that is an issue that I really thought that he would address. Be like, hey, yeah.
Why? Like, you've been doing this longer than I have, and you've done better. You thought Like what? Oh, maybe that's why he said there. Said I haven't been getting in the drama that much. I don't know. Yeah, like Jesus, you haven't dealt with these people. You haven't worked with people like this before.
I did get.
I have
part wrong. You're right, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to misrepresent.
There's people in this community. I mean, you say up, they will say down in a finger snap. Not think a thing of it, because they know what their position is in the community and they can afford to do it.
I still don't fully agree with it, but I do recognize that I had some errors here in my coverage. That's what I was expecting.
Really?
That's not what we got.
Really?
And it prompted me to reach out directly to him, to talk to him, to see, like...
If you would have, like, this story, like, was so... if this is a movie, it'd be the worst, most predictable movie ever, you know?
Why isn't he acknowledging that? Is there a reason? Like,
yeah,
what is going on
now
there?
You're getting there,
I
Charlie.
made it very clear he was not very happy with my coverage of Stop Killing Games, which is fine. I think that's totally fine.
You can eat his ass now, his whole ass.
I'm not going to leak DMs or really go in depth on our private conversation.
Well, you want to, though, because he probably told you something different.
He's itching.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's itching.
Yeah, because he probably lied to him. And I bet he's telling Charlie something completely different in private.
But the point of me reaching out to him was to talk about his refusal to acknowledge that he did, maybe unintentionally, misrepresent Stop Killing Games. And it led to a just shy of 2 hours, like, circular argument that ultimately got us nowhere. He was more focused on his qualms with Stop Killing Games and really liked to challenge me to prove him wrong about some of his hang-ups with it. And when I would...
That's not the issue. Your hang-ups are not the issue. The fact that you put false information out is the issue. I bet he wouldn't, and he just probably... That's why I don't do fucking debates. They're so fucking gay.
Mention, like, the behavior aspect, like, hey, you did misrepresent it, and I'd give him a timestamp. He'd then instead say how I'm wrong for thinking that he misrepresented it. We got nowhere.
What, did he gaslight you? No, that's not what you heard me said is not what I said, and how you've interpreted it. That makes something wrong with you.
So I want to just publicly say this again. There are plenty of...
This is going to be a big blow to his career, Charlie. Fucking 3.5 million views. And this guy, I mean, honestly, if Charlie just came out, this guy
probably fucked.
You know what this guy should do? The DMs. He should just come out and say, "I talked to this guy with a circular argument. He was being deliberately evasive, and I think there's probably something behind that." And just let him burn.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you look up Pirate Software on YouTube, it auto finishes drama.
Yeah.
So this guy's fucked.
He probably doesn't.
And a lot of exposed videos are coming out.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, you can expect he's an ex-Illuminati. You can't do
disagree with when it comes.
You can fuck up like at this level with the millions of views. You're gonna be his name's gonna be Voldemort, man.
Comes to the Stop Killing Games initiative. I'll put links to it if you want to learn more about it, and you can form your own opinions on it if you want to support it. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's super normal.
Charlie cannot believe
reach out to try and champion that Pirate Software should become
that somebody's this dishonest.
Stop Killing Games, out there on the fucking front lines fighting for it. It had nothing to do with that. It was simply about the misunderstanding that he showcased, maybe unintentionally, and the misrepresentation
maybe intentionally
that he broadcast. Again, maybe unintentionally. Which has, in turn, over the course of 10 months, misled people on what the fuck Stop Killing Games even is in the first place. Which I found to be a problem because he's never even acknowledged that as something that has happened. And because he refuses to acknowledge that, and anyone that even, like, tiptoes around that subject, he kind of treats as though they're fucking idiots, like me, for thinking that he's misrepresented something. Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife-Hayes, and in that tweet, this will prove how useless our conversation was, unfortunately, there's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development, and it kind of reads to me like we're all just too stupid to understand.
Yeah, you really have to know code to understand that something you paid for is not working anymore because they flipped the switch on the other end. Yeah. You're not a genius like Pirate Software.
Understand it from his side of things. Our conversation basically amounted to toilet paper, unfortunately. Again, I was focused on, you have done this, maybe unintentionally, you should at least say that you have, or, like, are you aware that you did this? And then it became more of like, nope, I didn't. You're wrong. And then he uses our conversation at the start of this for something that was not even the focus. I was not there to try and convince him to be part of Stop Killing Games. I don't think we made any ground on like his perspective versus mine on Stop Killing Games. He has some qualms about how difficult it would be in certain cases. I agree with that, for sure. I still think overall Stop Killing Games is a net positive for the gaming industry where something desperately needs to change with a lot of these awful practices. But for
the lesson learned today, kids, is if you're afraid of being accused of being a drama slop content creator, don't be, because you'll lose if you keep your mouth shut. That's what's happened. If you let the shit fester,
you actually don't need
it's
to
not going to
interact with
help.
real people ever.
Even his point was right about the game development. Maybe
Lindy donated $5. Even if his point was right about game development, maybe then it's okay to significantly change things.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're again, I don't think you're dealing with somebody who's being in good faith. I think he has a goal, and the goal is to protect the companies. You know, I mean, he doesn't have a solution either. Does anybody find that a little strange? Like, Stop Killing Game. This is like he doesn't even. He acts like it's not even a noble cause. Like, all right, it'd be one thing if he said, all right, Stop Killing Games is going about this wrong, but this would be a better way to get to the place that they want to go. We're not getting that. You know why? You don't want to go there. That's why. Like, there's nothing noble about people like keeping what they bought to this guy. He doesn't even offer a solution. He just says that this is crap and misrepresent. He says he makes a bunch of false statements, and that's being generous. And then after uses those false statements to justify this is all crap. Eat my whole ass. And then if you question him on it, you're just too stupid to understand.
For the 10 millionth time in the last 2.5 hours, it was just about him having this awareness that his
Pirate dump his
coverage.
Did he dump his DMs? Go check the Pirate software out.
Did mislead people, and that he, maybe not maliciously or anything, misunderstood or misrepresented Stop Killing Games in numerous instances. And the way that he talked about Ross was unacceptable. That at least made it into the tweet there about the way he talked about Ross being like a fucking used car salesman type deal and like calling everything.
Yeah, he was like, look at this weird guy. No, see the way this guy looks? Never. What?
Ass. He at least recognized that was.
What a great way to, discredit him. Look at his look,
Too harsh. So he gave a quick I'm sorry for that, which is good.
That's what I think. He's a fucking shill. That's it. Who said that? Ha ha ha. It's just that simple. The guy's a shill.
I do appreciate that, and I'm sure Ross will appreciate that as well, I imagine. But I still wanted to make this video after the conversation because I just really do not understand. I truly cannot wrap my head around.
It's simpler. He's retarded.
STS donated $5. It's simpler. Has a retard and doesn't get what responsibility is actually put onto the devs. It's not charity work, live service hell etc. Also has a game dev so has simply invested for himself.
Not Blizzard. Oh, he simply. So I guess what you're saying is it's about him and not the company, and because he's a game developer, he knows that'll be a pain in the ass. So give him more work, so to speak. Well, tough shit. Should be. He doesn't want to get trapped. He doesn't want to get trapped for his own game. Nobody's gonna buy his game. He put his game in the dustbin right next to Dr. Disrespect's if he keeps this shit up. No one's gonna buy it. People gonna buy Dr. Disrespect because the goodwill that he had in the community. They're gonna buy his game because of the goodwill he has. I mean, this guy's,
Around why he fights tooth and nail, coming for throats for anyone that tries to mention that there was misrepresentation in his coverage of the Stop Killing Games initiative. He is so hell-bent on proving he's right and everyone else is wrong that's saying these things. I just don't get it.
I do.
He's just treating it like
I can't find anything about him leaking DMs.
Okay.
And once-in-a-generation galaxy brain that no one can possibly understand. I
understand why Charlie didn't leak DMs, because it's just going to show you exactly what he's talking about more than likely.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point? And nobody will trust him. But And he did. He kind of lied. I talked to Charlie about this. No,
Are beneath him, and
well, that's not what we talked about.
we're lucky that he even graces us with streams, and we're stupid for thinking that he did anything wrong here.
His game is a broken mess, and he's been in development before the Trump's first term. Oh, okay. So he doesn't. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, it's like an Undertale clone.
Ridiculous.
In regards to his coverage of Stop Killing Games and what it's actually about. It's just so odd to me. Because if he would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking back on it, really reflecting, hearing what you guys are saying, I can see why this was so misleading for so many people. I didn't mean for it to be, and yeah, maybe I misunderstood some of these things. This would not have been nearly as big of a deal as it has turned into.
But he's
and
lying!
I went back and looked at some of his previous dramas, I suppose, and that is a common thread with Pirate Software.
Doubling
like
down.
in World of Warcraft. He made a mistake, but he completely refused to acknowledge the mistake, and it made it a much bigger snowball into an avalanche for him, which led to a ton of other problems. He just has this inability to, like, accept that he can make mistakes. Like, he does things wrong sometimes, and he needs to recognize that it's okay to be like, yeah, I did do that wrong. You're right. I was...
Why would you do that if you're lying? Like, you're deliberately... He's deliberately lying. So there's no reason not to double down.
Incorrect in this, and it would save so much of a headache, but he just comes across as a narcissist. He really does, unfortunately. Like, I'm not an armchair Reddit psychologist here
All right, I'm done with this. Yeah, I'm taking calls now. Load him in.
Diagnose him as a narcissist or anything, but like, that's what it comes across as. He just refuses to admit that he ever does anything incorrectly. It admits no faults of his own, ever. Except, I suppose, to Ross here, which maybe this is the beginning of a big character development for Pirate Software. He did apologize to Ross for how he treated him and what he said about him. I think that's great. Would love to see that same kind of energy for understanding where people like myself are coming from with your coverage of Stop Killing Games and why people feel the way they do about what's happened since.
He has an alternative motive
with your responses. But anyway, I won't keep yapping about it. That's really about it. So yeah.
It must be it must be wonderful, absolutely fucking wonderful to go through life and not have to deal with it. It's almost like this is the first guy like this he's ever dealt with. I really.
Have you ever seen the second puberty clip?
The second puberty clip? No.
Yeah, apparently Pirate Software was like talking about him having.
Oh, yeah, the second puberty. His voice got deeper. Yeah, that's bullshit, right?
Yeah, that's why. That's why his voice is deep.
Yeah, that's horseshit. There's no such thing as a separate puberty. Let's ask the all-knowing. Hold on a second. Let's ask Grok.
Okay.
I get a lot of these. Is Chud Logic winning? Yes, Grok. Morons. Grok said it. You lost. That's my favorite.
You actually don't need to interact with real people ever.
Let's make it simple. The movement's for consumers. Right, yeah.
STS donated $10. Let me make it simple. The movement is for consumers, right? His current game is sitting in development hell, so much so that Steam flagged it as abandoned LOL. It's broken, missing a shit.
A ton of promised content, monthly updates, but posted once. Yeah, all right. Well, who knows? So he thinks this has something to do, not with Blizzard. He's not being a shield for the company. What he's doing is this. Is there such thing as a second puberty there, sweetheart?
Hey, no idea what you're asking about.
Yeah? I'm asking about you, sexy. How you been?
Oh, you. I'm just here, helping out, same as always.
All right. Is there such thing as a second puberty?
Yeah, second puberty can happen, especially in your 20s or 30s. It's when your body and hormones shift again, like growth spurts or mood changes.
How common is it?
It's pretty common, especially for people in their late teens to early 30s. A lot of folks notice changes like acne or mood swings again.
What brings this on? Like, has science decided?
Scientists think it's tied to hormonal changes, stress, or lifestyle shifts. It's not official like first puberty, but it's a real thing for some.
Can it change your voice?
No, my voice is set.
No. Can the second puberty change your voice, make it deeper?
Yeah, second puberty can sometimes make your voice deeper if your vocal cords change again. Hormones might be at play there.
Can't believe that's a real fucking thing. I'll take the L on that one.